Hey everyone, how's it going? We just got the closing bell for Friday, October 25th. Now, it started out kind of a interesting and exciting day. We had that gap up. We did see CPC after hours get revised down to 0.69. That's a pretty low number. That indicated that we might jump up and move upwards in the morning. And instead of just opening where we were and trading up, what happened was we gapped up. And that gap up was just a little too much too fast. So we traded off, we sold off for the rest of the day. So at the beginning of the day, it looked like that yesterday's aftermarket analysis probably was wrong, where I was saying that we would trade in a limited range in between the EMA 8 and EMA 20. But you can see that today we traced all the way back down to the close of yesterday. That's pretty much exactly where we ended today. And as you might have recalled, the EMA 8 was not that far above the close of yesterday. It may have come down a little bit today, so we may be a little bit closer. Let's take a look at what that looks like on the daily chart. So yeah, we are EMA 8 is at 580.15 and we closed at 579.01. So all we did was just chop sideways. We just went sideways and we are still trapped between that EMA 20 and EMA 8. So a little bit of a head fake in the morning, and ultimately we're just chopping sideways. I talked about how we're probably looking at this box right here, a slightly wider box than we had before this past week, and just extended more to the downside. Now, I don't think there's going to be big, huge catalysts that are going to drive us out of this, unless, of course, we do have a lot of really big mega cap stocks reporting earnings next week. So we can take a quick look at that. Unless the earnings are just amazing or horrendous, then we're probably not going to go out of that range, because even NVIDIA, NVDA, which is one that has been really moving the markets. NVIDIA is not for a while. Never mind. I just, Tesla. Okay, so even Tesla, huge gap up yesterday and the continuation today, moving higher. That's not really enough to move the markets. So even if we have really big players announcing and beating or missing, I don't think it's going to move the market all that much. So we've got Apple, we've got Microsoft, we've got Google, we've got Amazon, we've got Meta, we've got nearly the entire Magnificent Seven or FANG stocks reporting this next week. So them collectively, all together, if they all have shocking results in either direction to the same direction, then yeah, we can move the needle. But the likelihood of that, I'm just not there. More likely, the bigger power in the market right now, the bigger influence in the market right now is elections. It's not that far away. It's less than 2 weeks away. Most people, most institutions, large fund managers, they're not going to want to put a lot of capital one way or another when they can just wait a week or two and know for certain and just put their money to work at that particular moment in time. So for the most part, I'm not really expecting us to break out of this box. I'm going to be a little bit generous with myself just to say, we could get up to maybe this 590-ish level and maybe a little bit lower to the 570-ish level. That might be possible going into elections. So November 5th. Okay. So, for the next week and a half or so, we're probably not going to break out of this box. There's just the last several months have just proven to us there's just no catalyst that has been strong enough to really move these markets until we get the elections. That could, or it could just free us to move even bigger. There's not necessarily going to be a big reaction to the elections other than, hey, that force that was capping us, that was preventing us from trading very far, has now been removed. And so now we can move. I don't necessarily think there's going to be a huge gap up or gap down based on the election results. There's just too much too much already in the market I'm sorry, too much even is still too even, still too close for the market to have put a huge bet on one candidate or the other. So there's not going to be a whole lot to reverse based on the results of the elections. But the force that was keeping us in this tight range, that will for sure be relieved, and then we will be capable of moving outside of this tight range. So the thing that we really want to keep our eye on is dollar. The US dollar, it continues to be very strong. If that strength changes, that could be very meaningful for the stock market. Also bonds, you can see that it's been trading downwards. We sort of hit this sideways movement in the past week. That's probably going to continue into the elections if I were to guess. And this money that went out of treasuries, where did it go? That's an important question to answer as well. So could it, a lot of it, I believe, has gone into gold. And that's why gold has done very well. So if we start seeing treasuries break back down, then that could be another impetus for another run up in gold prices. It's actually looking pretty good here. That's probably a pretty good trade. I'm going to write a note for myself to look at that more carefully over the weekend. So other than that, sectors today, we got risk back on the QQQ. We can see gapped up and stayed up. It traded higher and came back to where it opened, but it didn't trade back down to yesterday's close. So a lot of money was going into tech. A lot of money was going back into the SMH type of stocks, and out of the blue chip stocks. So we can see that Dow Jones has come down. So it does seem like that we are starting to nibble more at risk at the moment. And then if that keeps up into the elections, then chances are, risk appetite is going to come back into the market. So we have a slight bullish lean over the next couple of weeks. But again, we're not expecting to break out of this box before elections happen. So not a lot has been happening in the markets. There's not really a whole lot of point of me digging deeper, going into all these on the VIX, the momentum, the sectors, all of this, because we're pretty much in this wait and see mode. So I'm just going to leave it there. We're just going to call it a short video before the weekend. So everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys next week.